Hello and welcome to Kimbra Talk. I'm your host, Kimbra, and today we're going to be addressing some questions that I've received through email from some of the first year students who are having a few difficulties during their first few weeks of class. Our first question comes from Cindy. She's a biology major here at UTM. Dear Kimbra, I'm having a hard time focusing in class. I'm falling asleep, getting distracted by other students, and I just can't stay on task with the professor. Okay, Cindy. Now, do you remember that nice little acronym that Bill Cortez taught us? SLANT. Sit up, lean forward, ask questions, nod, and sit in the T-zone. Make sure you're sitting up in class, leaning forward actively, ask questions, make sure you're nodding and paying attention to what the professor is saying, and always sit in the T-zone, the first row and the middle row. Hopefully that helps you out. Our next question comes from Belinda. She's a sociology major. Dear Kimbra, I'm afraid my English professor may have me confused with someone else. I checked my attendance grade on Blackboard and I have absences for days that I'm positive I attended. I may have been late, but I never skipped class. What should I do? Well, Belinda, the first thing you should always make sure to do is that you punctually attend classes, because sometimes professors count you absent even if you're 5 minutes late for class. They also may count off half of an absence, so that's going to lead to excessive absences and points being removed. Also, you need to talk to your professor ASAP and make sure they can put a face with your name to avoid any discrepancies in the future. And everyone else, make sure that you know who your professors are and they know who you are to avoid any mistakes like this. Our third question is going to come from Dylan. He is a criminal justice major. Dear Kimbra, I'm having a lot of difficulty preparing for my test in several of my classes. There is so much information to cover. How do I know what is most important or the best way to study? I'm feeling very overwhelmed. Please help. Okay, Dylan. You need to determine some personal study habits. Where is the best place for me to study? My apartment, my room, or the library? What is the best study technique? Do I use note cards? Do I make study guides? Highlighting in my book? You need to find out those things that are best for you to help you study and prepare. Once you find out your personal study habits, you need to ask yourself a few questions. You need to ask yourself the who, what, when, where, and why of each test. The who stands for the professor and the students. Who can you ask for help on the material? The what is the material? So once you've identified the who, ask those people, what's going to be on my test? That's also going to help you get to know your professors. And then the when is the test? That way, if you have an English test and a biology test, you'll know when to prepare for what test. And the where is, of course, where do you study? And you identified that in your personal study habits. The why is, why am I studying for this test? Well, you're studying for this test because this is the way that you're going to make the grades that you need to achieve the degree you're here to achieve. So hopefully, Dylan, these are going to help you out. And I hope that this helped all the first year students with some questions that maybe you're all facing in your first few weeks of college. Thanks.